Greenacre House stood tall and proud. It was old, with ivy crawling up its walls. The house had seen many years and held many secrets. Behind the house lay a garden. It was once grand, but now it lay forgotten. Weeds grew wild, hiding the paths. The fountain, once a centerpiece, stood silent and dry. The garden slept, waiting for someone to wake it up. The garden at Greenacre House was a place of mystery. The wind whispered through the trees, telling stories of the past. Sunlight peeked through the leaves, casting dancing shadows on the ground. It was a place of forgotten beauty, waiting to be rediscovered. The air hung heavy with the scent of damp earth and forgotten flowers. Birdsong filled the air, a chorus of sweet melodies. The garden was a hidden world, a secret waiting to be unveiled. It called out softly to anyone who would listen. Emily, a girl of 10, loved adventures. She lived at Greenacre House with her grandmother. One rainy afternoon, Emily decided to explore the attic. The attic was dark and dusty, filled with forgotten treasures. Old furniture loomed in the shadows, covered in white sheets.
Armed with a flashlight, I ventured deeper into the attic. I moved an old rocking horse, its paint chipped and faded. I opened a chest filled with my grandmother's old clothes, their fabrics soft and smelling of lavender.
Finally, tucked away in a corner, she found a small wooden box. The box was carved with intricate designs. Emily traced the patterns with her fingers. It felt cool to the touch. When she lifted the lid, it creaked open as if it hadn't been touched in years. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, lay a rolled-up piece of parchment. Emily unfurled the parchment carefully. It was a map, but not just any map. This map, drawn in faded ink and marked with strange symbols, was a map of the forgotten garden. Emily's heart pounded with excitement. This was the adventure she had been waiting for. The next morning, Emily, with her loyal dog Jasper at her side, set off into the garden. Map in hand, she followed its faded lines. Thorns scratched at her skin and cobwebs clung to her hair, but Emily didn't mind. She was on a mission. The map led her through overgrown paths and past crumbling statues.
The garden, though neglected, is still beautiful. Sunbeams slant through the trees, dappling the ground with light. Butterflies flutter among the weeds, their wings a kaleidoscope of colors. The air hums with the sound of insects. I can feel the garden waking up around me. It's as if the garden itself is happy to be discovered again.
She imagined the garden in its prime, filled with vibrant flowers and the laughter of children. This was a place of magic. She could feel it. Finally, after what felt like hours, the map led Emily to a clearing. In the center stood a sundial, half hidden by vines. Emily brushed away the leaves, revealing an inscription. Time waits for no one, but beauty lasts forever. This was the heart of the garden. She could feel it. Behind the sundial, hidden by a curtain of ivy, Emily discovered a small wooden door. It was almost invisible, concealed by the overgrowth. With Jasper whining excitedly at her side, Emily pushed open the door. It creaked open, revealing a set of stone steps leading down into darkness.
Holding my breath, I descended the steps. The air grew cooler and damper. At the bottom, I found myself in a small, dusty room. The only light came from a crack in the ceiling.
And there, on a three-legged stool, lay a leather-bound book. Emily picked up the book. It was a journal, its pages filled with elegant handwriting and delicate watercolor paintings of flowers. On the first page, written in faded ink, were the words, "Lily's Garden Journal." This was the story of the garden, Emily realized, told by the person who loved it most. As Emily read through the journal, she felt a connection to Lily, the girl who had written it so long ago. Lily's words painted a picture of the garden in its prime, a place of laughter and joy. But Lily's journal also hinted at a sadness, a longing for someone to share the garden with. Emily raced back to the house. Lily's journal clutched tightly in her hand. She found her grandmother in the living room, knitting by the window. Her grandmother, with her kind eyes and warm smile, reminded Emily of the grandmother in her favorite storybooks.
"Grandma, you won't believe what I found!"
She told her grandmother all about the map, the hidden door, and Lily's journal. To Emily's surprise, her grandmother didn't seem surprised at all. A faraway look came into her grandmother's eyes.
Lily was my great-aunt. We used to play in that garden when I was a little girl, just like you.
For the first time, Emily saw a different side to her grandmother, a side that held its own adventures and secrets. From that day on, Emily and her grandmother worked side by side in the garden. They weeded and pruned, planted and watered. They followed Lily's instructions in the journal, bringing her vision back to life. The garden, once lost, was slowly being reborn. Day by day, the garden began to transform. Weeds were replaced with blooming flowers. The fountain, once silent, gurgled back to life. The paths, cleared of debris, beckoned visitors to explore. The garden was waking up from its long sleep.
This is for you, Lily.
Emily and her grandmother worked tirelessly. They planted Lily's favorite flowers, roses, lavender and forget-me-nots. They repaired the crumbling statues and benches. The garden was like a giant jigsaw puzzle, and they were putting it back together piece by piece. The air, once heavy with neglect, now buzzed with life. Bees buzzed lazily among the blossoms, collecting pollen. Birdsong filled the air, a cheerful melody. The garden was coming alive again, more beautiful than Emily could have ever imagined. As Emily worked, she thought about Lily. She imagined her joy at seeing the garden restored to its former glory. The garden was a tribute to Lily's love and a testament to the enduring power of nature. The garden held many secrets. As Emily and her grandmother cleared away years of overgrowth, they unearthed hidden treasures. They found a rusty old swing set, its chains tangled with vines. They uncovered a stone bird bath, its surface covered in moss.
Look, Grandma, a bird bath.
One afternoon, while digging near the fountain, Emily's shovel hit something hard. Brushing away the dirt, she uncovered a mosaic tile. As she dug further, she realized it was part of a larger pattern. Soon they had unearthed a beautiful mosaic pathway, depicting a whimsical scene of dancing fairies and woodland creatures. Each discovery filled Emily with a sense of wonder. The garden was a treasure chest, filled with forgotten memories and hidden beauty. She felt a connection to the past, to the people who had walked these paths and enjoyed this beauty before her. The garden was more than just a collection of plants and flowers, it was a living, breathing history book. And Emily, with her boundless energy and thirst for adventure, was eager to uncover all its secrets. Jasper, Emily's faithful companion, was in his element. He loved exploring the garden, his tail wagging furiously as he chased butterflies and sniffed at the newly planted flowers. The garden had become his own personal playground.
Sound of joy.
He would often disappear for hours, only to reappear with muddy paws and a triumphant grin, a stick clenched firmly in his jaws. He loved splashing in the newly restored fountain and rolling in the freshly cut grass. Jasper's enthusiasm was infectious.
Sound of excitement.
His joy at being in the garden reminded Emily of the simple pleasures in life. The garden was a place where she could forget her worries and just be a child again, exploring and discovering with her best friend by her side. The garden wasn't just for humans, it was a haven for wildlife too. Birds built their nests in the trees. Squirrels chattered from the branches and butterflies flitted from flower to flower. The garden had become a thriving ecosystem, a testament to the power of nature to heal and renew. Word of the restored garden spread throughout the village. People who had once only glimpsed the overgrown wilderness from afar were curious to see its transformation. Soon, visitors began to arrive at the gates of Greenacre House.
At first, I was hesitant to share our secret garden with strangers.
But remember, Emily, beauty is meant to be shared.
And so they opened the garden gates to the public. The villagers were amazed by what they saw. They wandered through the paths, admiring the flowers and listening to the birdsong. Children laughed as they chased butterflies, their parents watching on with smiles. The garden had brought joy back to the village.
This place is truly magical. It's brought so much happiness to our community.
The garden became a place where people gathered to relax, to socialize, and to reconnect with nature. It was a reminder that even in the midst of busy lives, there is always beauty to be found if you know where to look. As the years passed, Emily grew older. She left Greenacre House to pursue her dreams, but she carried the memory of the garden with her always. She knew that no matter where life took her, a part of her would always remain in that magical place.
I'll never forget the garden, no matter where I go.
The garden at Greenacre House continued to thrive. It became a beloved landmark in the village, a place where generations of children came to play and explore. It was a living testament to the power of imagination, the importance of preserving history, and the enduring bond between a girl, her grandmother, and a garden. Emily's story became a local legend passed down from one generation to the next. She was remembered as the girl who brought the garden back to life, who rediscovered its magic and shared it with the world. And so the garden at Greenacre House lived on, a place of wonder and beauty, a reminder that even in the most forgotten corners of the world, magic can still bloom. Emily's story is a reminder that magic can be found in the most unexpected places. It teaches us that even the most neglected and forgotten places can be brought back to life with a little bit of love, care, and imagination. Nature has a remarkable ability to heal and renew not just the environment, but also our spirit. When we take the time to connect with nature, to appreciate its beauty and wonder, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities. The garden at Greenacre House represents the power of our connection to the past and the importance of preserving our heritage for future generations. It is a reminder that even in a rapidly changing world, there is still a place for wonder, for beauty, and for the magic that comes from discovering something truly special. Emily's story is an inspiration to us all to embrace our curiosity, to never stop exploring, and to always believe in the power of our dreams.